think I should have reversed it.
Oh, you're a freaking one.
I don't think
Because I had with my mom and my dad a couple times, and I had really good numbers. And then when I did it in front of everyone, it was not as good as I thought it was.
To be fair, you have the technology issue of the slideshow starting.
Honestly, that helped.
Really?
I'm not kidding. Because it broke.
The ice.
It broke the ice for me.
You also did a great job of handling it instead of just awkward. You were like, you guys remember this? This was wonderful.
Oh, how? Sorry that we were so late.
So that's crazy.
No. Oh, we used to.
Oh, you think the biggest fear is that I just forget one of the kids and I would be off the entire time.
Oh, perfect.
And I think I can see in my peripheral vision.
I could just put it all, set it up there so they're behind coming.
Yeah, I think we can just probably
Bring it up.
Okay, or we can even just put it on the back, right on the shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Add some color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay, wait. No, wait for people to watch. It's just that YouTube stream that's on a different.
I've never seen.
Wait, where's the link? Can you send it to the chat? If it's the right one. I told because they're supposed to comment and say. Told me say there's 20 people watching. I did send it to let my whole family watch it. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, it hasn't even been that long.
I've heard that streamers actually taste disgusting.
That's it. 2:30.
Oh, guys, I don't think that's the right
Hey,
thing.
girl, how are you? Good. Oh, I love your red sweater.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to hang your stuff on it right now?
Yes.
No, but I have a
You can shoot it on the floor,
Yeah, let's put it
and then we can just move it up. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there were a bunch of people. Like CJ and all the people that should yeah, the girls. I didn't know.
Oh, remember that's what I say. That was impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, are you here to support?
Of course. A lot. Hey, guess what? They're still coming.
Are you serious?
I mean, at those points.
It's literally like
You're a legend.
it's not top.
I mean, like, it's
I just had to make what you did. It shows it's imbalance.
I like the shirt.
No, I keep on last
Black.
because like.
Nobody tried to do
He's not less. He's less.
any
So yeah, my bad.
No, wait.
This is the link. Where's team?
Hey, who's first? It's Quinn, Kennedy, you, Brendan.
Oh my gosh, I love that class. That is my ultimate favorite. Yes.
Right now we have meetings.
Right after yours is there.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Have to break the silence.
I'm just the bathroom.
Hello. Okay, guys, we know we're a little behind, sorry, but we have a little incentive for you guys to sit on the front 2 rows. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a surprise, but there will be something for a few people who sit on the front 2 rows. We don't know who yet. I don't know, you'll have to guess. So if you can all move to the front 2 rows, it just makes it feel more homey. Since you all love whoever you're here to be here for. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was Maggie, my cup of coffee.
Yeah, you did great.
Thank you.
Yeah, was it stressful?
Yes. What's my always stressful?
It was cool. I love when people, I love when other topics like, you know, you have money, you get money and everything. It's so awesome. Not a part of it. I'm sure when I did it, I'll get.
One, I mean, that's what it would.
Depends on where. And if there's a pool, I'm just kidding. That's the kind of white girl dancing.
Wait, huh? Not really.
Get it to where you're going.
Okay, that's perfect. The better one.
Bro, I heard, is there beef between Tonga and Hawaii? I heard there's beef.
Oh, not Hawaii, no.
I heard there's beef between Tonga, Samoa,
Still not Hawaii.
like versus.
What if it falls off my
Oh,
ear?
there's beef between those?
For no reason, we know who's better.
Oh, I know whose side I want in that.
There's only one right now.
I have.
Never been. I was in Hawaii.
Like close up to my face.
No, I'll be back there ready.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I promise no one time.
Whenever you guys are doing, yeah, I'd be ready.
Wait, but really fast, I need to test this.
All you gotta do is turn it on, just to show our
Okay, everyone, while they're finishing getting their mics on, we have popcorn. It's from Fixology. It's so good. So you better go get some popcorn and a drink before we get started, and then we'll start here when you come back to your seats.
Check.
intermission row, we can walk around.
Is mine working? Yeah. Mine is working? Oh. Yeah, I
All right, let's go.
Also, like, switch.
I only have like 2 more cards.
That's like, there's a case.
Oh.
And we look
Oh, also, there's like, has to be this little.
I would say,
It's like the camera.
That's a lady.
Are you guys good?
that's fire.
Are you ready? Yeah, but we need a little picture. We're gonna have you guys do a group picture before we go down. You wanna jump up on stage?
We're standing, we're sitting all at the podium.
There we go.
And quick picture.
We don't have room for it.
I really love this shirt.
Thanks. He's coming. I didn't brush my hair, but. I know.
Sorry, guys. We have to get a quick group photo.
Segregation and whatnot.
Your speakers, everyone, aren't they beautiful? Woo!
Yeah. Glazed.
All right.
All right, let's go sit.
Are you gonna intro it or do I do it?
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here, even on this awesome week where it's Thanksgiving. We have a special little surprise, like I said at the beginning, for those of you sitting in the front 2 rows. Are you ready? Okay, I'm not gonna say it until you say, are we ready? Okay. So we decided to entice you guys to sit on the front 2 rows. We put something special under 3 chairs. Check the ones next to you. If it's next to you, you get it. Who got them? Oh, there's one right here. Let's go. Where's the other 2? Is there 2 on the back row? The second row?
I don't remember where I put them.
Did you find one? Where's the other one? Oh, Logan got it. We gifted them some airheads for sitting on the front 2 rows. Thanks, guys. All right, we're ready to get started. We are going to watch a little intro video that our speakers made for us, and then we'll get to hear from our first speaker. Welcome our speakers, everyone. All right, we're going to get started from hearing from Quinn. Quinn is from Idaho Falls. She loves to play the piano, and she especially loves cats. Today, she'll be giving us a little TED Talk about how being cringe is being free. Quinn.
Okay, we're just gonna jump right into it, and I want you guys to raise your hands if you have ever done something embarrassing or something cringe. Keep them high, keep them up. I want you to think about that moment. Think about the palpable cringe that you felt and that filled the room. I want you to think about the people who watched you, the faces they made. Maybe you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you. Maybe you sent a text to the wrong person. Maybe you told a joke that didn't land. Think about that. Did that moment ruin your life? Does it keep you up at night? Probably not. Did it teach you a valuable lesson that changed your life? Do you reflect often on this moment and how much it changed you and how grateful you are that it happened? Probably not. So then why do we do embarrassing things? What is the point if we don't get something out of it negatively or positively? If everyone here has done something embarrassing, something cringe, and we all survived, then maybe being cringe isn't the problem we think it is. Maybe the real problem is that we spend so much of our lives trying not to be cringe. We edit what we say, we filter our personalities and our photos. We make sure that every move we make can survive a round of judgment. But here's the thing. You can't truly live if you're constantly rehearsing. We're so afraid of looking dumb that people can tell that we're trying. We stay quiet in class when we have something to say. We don't post that video we worked so hard on because it feels cringe. We don't tell someone we like them because we're scared of rejection. We're ashamed of people seeing we care because it's vulnerable. But the irony is that the thing that we are afraid of, effort, is what makes us who we are. When you start something new, you're going to look inexperienced. You're going to look possibly bad. And it's going to be embarrassing, but you're going to learn. And throughout that learning, that is how you build friendships, skills, confidence, and a sense of self. A study by PubMed showed that on days where people specifically intentionally were themselves and actively practiced in their passions, they felt more joy the next days. Effort is not cringy, it's real, it's passionate, it's human. Caring about things, expressing your personality, being loud about what you love, that's all part of being human. A couple months ago, at the beginning of the semester, I woke up just feeling off. It's one of those days where everything you say just feels so awkward. So I went to my classes, and I decided I should probably just stay in my apartment for the rest of the day. So after a long, boring day of doing nothing, speaking to no one, I finally left my apartment and went on a walk. And on this walk, I ran into an old friend of mine. This friend, I'd always looked up to him. He seemed like the exact opposite of me this day. He was always social, personable. He always knew what to say. So I opened up to him. I just said, "How do you do it? How are you never awkward? How do you always know what to say?" And he said that he has these days all the time, just like we all do. But instead of leaning into that discomfort and isolating himself, my friend puts him somewhere physically, he literally puts himself somewhere where he will have to connect with people. He goes somewhere very public, and he speaks to as many people as possible, and he tries to connect with people. Now, I'm not saying that you have to force yourself to be outgoing, but if something that you are craving is connection and you're holding yourself back because you might feel awkward or feel cringe, I encourage you to put yourself somewhere intimidating and just be yourself. Don't filter your personality. Don't worry what others are thinking about you. Just give yourself a chance to show up as you. So let's go back to the question. What is the point? Why do we do embarrassing things? Why do we have awkward moments and conversations we wish we could take back? I don't have a grand, meaningful answer for you guys. We embarrass ourselves because we are alive. Being cringe is not a failure. It's evidence that we are participating in life. And maybe that's the whole point. Not to avoid cringe, but to see it as evidence of living and as a sign of growth. Not to hide, but to show up anyway. Because being cringe is not the opposite of confidence, it's the doorway to it. Stop trying to outrun embarrassment, and instead, I encourage you to choose authenticity over being aesthetic, choose effort over image, and choose being human over perfection. Because being cringe is being human, and being human is being free. Thank you.
Thanks, Quinn. Next, we will get to hear from Kennedy. Kennedy is a major in communications with a minor in marketing. She used to be a home stager and now is currently working as a barista at a coffee shop. She loves outdoor activities like skiing and skateboarding, but she also loves to play her Nintendo. She has a tuxedo cat, and she's also an identical twin sister, which is cool. She loves to be creative and do art and different things like that, which we'll get to hear about today because she will be teaching us about how interior design is more than just furniture.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay. Sorry, I was just sick, so my voice is a little bit gone, but I'll do my best. So, take a look at these spaces. They're cluttered, dark, maybe even just a little bit off. You can almost feel how uncomfortable they might be. Now imagine coming home to this every single day. This is where you're doing your homework, you're having people come over, you're eating your dinner, or you're just trying to be motivated. We don't realize it, but our brains are quietly teaching, our surroundings are quietly teaching our brains how to feel. Hi, my name is Kennedy Shakespeare, and I used to work as a home stager, decorating homes to make them picture perfect for selling. But what I learned went way beyond real estate. I learned that our spaces shape us. And today, I want to show you that interior design isn't just about furniture, it's about emotion. It's about how your space affects your mood, your energy, and just your entire outlook on life. Now, I grew up with a mom who loved decorating. I mean, every single house or every single room in my house was picture perfect, decorated, clean. I mean, even the laundry room had a vibe. So going from that to a college apartment was a major reality check. I also, at home staging, had a warehouse full of furniture. So to make a design and make a room look good, it was pretty easy. So going from that to a cinder block prison-like college dorm room was a little scary, and I had $20 to make it feel like home. Sorry, is this making noise? I'm gonna take that out. There we go. Okay. I definitely wasn't great at it at first. It took practice and a lot of cleaning up after myself, because we'll get into it later. It's not just about the design, but it's about the cleanliness of your space that makes a difference too. So my freshman year, my roommate and I shared a neon poster pack, a lamp, and a few plants. And that was about it. It wasn't that well done, and it wasn't that much, but it did help. It made our space feel like our own, a place we could do homework, feel motivated in, feel comfortable having people come over. Wasn't perfect, but it helped. And the more semesters I lived through, the better I got. My style changed, my spaces slowly improved, and I started doing more than just my bedroom. I started doing the living room, the kitchen, and just overall any little space I could find. Little by little, each space started to feel a little more like home. It wasn't much. It was just a plant, a lamp, maybe even a little piece of art in the kitchen. It just really made a really big difference in the cohesiveness and the atmosphere of the home. This semester, I didn't even need to really buy much. I moved into a brand new apartment, and I just had a lot of decor already saved up. So when I moved in, it wasn't as nice of an apartment as my older one, so I was a little intimidated. But my friend and I were able to make it look better than it was, in my opinion, a place where we felt like we could hang out in, a place where we could do homework and have people come over. We really made it feel like ours. We wanted a space that we were excited to hang out in. And honestly, like I said, we were a little nervous because it wasn't very nice in the beginning, but I feel like in the end, we made a little bit of a difference. And it's kind of funny, it became the unofficial hangout spot. My roommates love to go in there pretty much every day with their friends. And honestly, I love it because a good space draws people in, and it shows. It naturally becomes a place people want to gather when a room is intentional. But I'll get into how you can create a space that you love later in my talk. Next, I want to share a big transformation that showed me how much a space can change someone. One of my friends lives in a one-bedroom apartment, and really all there was a little bit of a futon, not much color or warmth, and she struggles with some depression, and we could tell her environment wasn't helping. So we took her shopping on a budget and mainly thrifting. And in just a few hours, we got cozy pillows, a soft blanket, a few plants, and a lamp, and in just a few hours, transformed her space and made it hers. As you can see, it looks like a real living room. We thrifted pretty much everything, and it really made a big difference. Now she literally sleeps in her living room, sometimes because of how much she loves being out there. And that's the power of design. It's creating a space that supports how you want to feel. Now, before I ever decorated my own apartments, I spent 3 years working as a home stager, and staging completely changed how I think about design. When I started, in terms of a buyer's perspective, There's a better picture up there of like my favorite living room, but it's not up there for some reason. But just know it was really cool. In terms of a buyer's perspective, I thought empty rooms were good. A blank slate where people could come in, look at an empty room, and imagine their life. But the truth is, they can't. I'd watch clients walk in, they'd say, it feels small, or I can't really picture where anything would go. But it was a huge room. So suddenly, a big room felt tiny to them. And that's because an empty room gives you really, your brain nothing to latch onto, no scale, no warmth, no purpose. But the moment we staged it, with a few simple things, everything changed. People would walk in and say, oh wow, I could have my friends come over here, or I'd love to cozy up and watch a little movie here. All we did was give the room context. We didn't change the square footage, we just changed the perception of it. Now, I chose this room to show you because it's simple, nothing special, which is exactly why the transformation matters. In the empty photo, the room feels cold, dark, maybe even a little confusing, kind of awkward. There's nothing really telling you how to use this space. But the second you add furniture, your brain relaxes. You see the living room, you see the purpose, and maybe you see yourself in it. Here's another great example, this blue bedroom. Now, if you walked into this room empty, you'd probably think, I need to paint over this. Or what am I supposed to do with this color? And that's the reality for so many of us. I mean, a lot of us live in apartments, college housing, where we can't change the walls. We can't knock down everything, repaint everything, or start from scratch. So instead, you work with what you got. And that's where design matters even more. We didn't paint this room. We didn't change the flooring. We didn't add anything fancy. We used color, texture, layout to complement what was already there. And suddenly, that same blue room that once felt confusing and maybe a little outdated, suddenly feels calm, intentional, and peaceful. That's the power of good design. You don't have to change the room, you just have to change how the room feels. It's the same room, but now it makes sense. That's when I realized people aren't reacting to furniture, they're reacting to the feeling that the room is telling them. And if the story of the room that you have is giving cluttered, maybe messy, confusing, non-cohesive, or even just bland and boring, it's time to start thinking about changing the story of your room. Interior design helps people visualize a better version of their life. So if staging can make strangers fall in love with a home in just 5 seconds, imagine what good design can do for you in a room that you live in every single day. Design doesn't change the structure, it changes the story. And that got me curious. Why does rearranging a couch suddenly make a room feel so much bigger? Why does adding warm lighting instantly make you relax? Why does a plant or a piece of art instantly change the energy of a room? That's when I started digging into the psychology behind it. And guess what? There is real science telling you how these tiny changes make a big difference. One important design concept is lighting. One study from 2022 tested how daylight in the home affects your mood. Now, researchers had 750 people rate how they felt in different lighting setups. And guess what? People were way happier in the room that had natural light. Even their stress levels went down, their sleep was regulated, and their anxiety was just lower. And it's not just about brightness either. Color matters too. A lab at UC Davis tested different light colors on stressed participants and found that amber lighting, like that soft sunset orange light, had the strongest calming effect. Their stress hormone levels dropped faster than in the light blue, green, or even white overhead lights. I'm obsessed with lighting. Honestly, I think it's one of the most important things. I really think it makes a huge difference in the vibe of the room. Now, you can see just a few things of why you might not want those overhead lights. Daylight is amazing, but what about the moments when you don't get much natural light? It's nighttime, or even your room doesn't have a great window. You do not want to flip on those harsh overhead lights. And if you do, I'm a little worried for you, in my opinion. It's very hospital-like. It makes the whole space feel calmer, softer, and way more atmospheric when it's a bit of a warmer light. Now, next, let's talk about clutter versus clean. In one experiment, women were asked to care for an infant simulator in 2 different rooms. One messy and chaotic, and one clean and very nice and calm. This woman in the messy room had significantly higher stress levels. Their bodies were reacting before their brains could even catch up. Another study showed that cluttered homes raise daily cortisol, our stress hormone. So, especially for women as well. And that's because your brain is constantly trying to block out visual noise, and that can really tire you out. So you really want to think about that. And finally, design and layout matters too. In one study, researchers tested 2 virtual rooms, one with soft curves and rounded walls, and another with typical sharp edges. People in the curved room felt calmer, had lower heart rates, even scored higher on a creativity test, which I think is very interesting. So even though this room doesn't necessarily look bad, it's that modern theme, the super modern style can definitely feel cold and a little unwelcoming. You know those movies where the, lonely billionaire is up in his mansion penthouse? Yeah, looks cool in theory, but maybe he's alone for a reason, all those sharp corners. So yes, light, color, clutter, shape, it all matters. The way your space looks and feels directly affects how you feel, how you show up in your daily life. Now, the good news, you don't need an interior design degree or a big budget to make a difference. It's honestly way easier than people think. Here are a few simple steps that you can use to make your house feel calmer, cozier, and just more you starting today. One of those things is add some softness. Couple throw pillows, a nice blanket, textured rug can instantly make your space feel warmer and intentional. Use lighting to your advantage, like we talked about, skip those overhead lights. 1 or 2 more warm lamps can really change the mood. Choose a simple color palette. Pick 2 to 3 colors to stick to. Keep things looking clean instead of chaotic. Yes. Don't overcrowd your walls. Empty space is your friend. Let the room breathe. 5 really big pieces, or I guess 1 great piece is better than 6 random pieces, making your overall room look kind of confusing. Bring some life in. Real or fake, and it really makes a difference. I have all fake plants, and I absolutely love it. I buy them from Walmart, and no one would ever know. Lastly, make it feel like you. My slides did not look like this, I'm so sorry, but whatever. Okay, make it look like you. If you like clean and minimal, pick a few really nice pieces that you love, and then get a few nice simple pieces to make it look like you. Or if you're more of a vintage, eclectic vibe, thrift some fun trinkets and layer them on top of some nice basics to still keep it looking nice. And maybe you've already decorated. That's awesome. That means you're expressing yourself, and that is the whole point. Just know your space should grow as you grow. So if your room still has that freshman year neon poster pack energy, maybe it's time to progress. Create a space that feels a little more balanced, a little more you now, and not as much you then. Because design isn't about being trendy. It's about being aligned. Your space should reflect where you're heading and not where you've been. So when you go home tonight, I want you to ask yourself, does this place recharge me or does it drain me? And does it make you feel like yourself when you go in? So change your space, even just a little, and you might just change your life. Thank you.
Thanks, Kennedy. All right, now we have the opportunity to hear from Ethan. Ethan is from Montana and he loves to fish. And today we get to hear from him about how niceness is overrated. Ethan.
It's actually Brendan.
Oh, Brendan. Okay, Brendan. Brendan's going next.
Yeah, Brendan.
Brendan is 25 and single, for any single ladies out there. Brendan is majoring in video production, and he served his mission in Roseville, California. Today, he will be speaking to us about how we can find purpose without all of the answers, which I'm sure a lot of us are feeling currently. Brendan.
Can you guys hear me all right? Yes. Okay. How many of you remember writing a paper talking about what you want to grow up? Okay, good. We live in a world where people are obsessed with having a clear conscience, concise purpose, or career path. So many of us are left feeling lost or inadequate. Society often teaches us that success equals knowing your purpose at a young age. So this knowing that success equals knowing our purpose at a young age, this can lead to feelings of failure. If we don't have a solid pre-planned path. Finding purpose isn't about having all the answers immediately. It's about embracing the process, the exploration, and the uncertainty along the way. Now, I want to talk to you about this boy. He comes from a good family with his siblings, and he is at the age of 5. He doesn't know what his purpose is right now, but he has so much potential. When you look at him, what do you see? What do you see the potential he can be? What career path will he go into? How many kids will he have? What would his wife look like? Now, what if I told you that this kid feels lonely, that he doesn't know where his path is going to take him, that he feels that he has no purpose, that he feels worthless, that he wants to die. He wants to rid himself in this world that seems difficult, so hard for him. How would you react to that? How would you console him? Now, I want you to think about that and apply that to this person. Would your reaction be the same? How would you tell that person about that? In my senior year of high school, I was feeling those things. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a plan. I felt so worthless that the people I didn't have to communicate with, that I'm not worth somebody's time. These feelings start creeping into my life where I just couldn't think. Then suicidal thoughts start creeping in. I thought of ways to kill myself. Then one thought came into my mind. What about those who care about me? What about my family? What about those from school that I interact with every day? What about those from my religious organization? What about anyone that I will eventually meet? Then another thought came into my mind. That thought was, God has a purpose for me. He has a plan for me. And that this trial will test me, as well as others will feel the same thing in their life. With that, I started to change. I realized that God does have a purpose for everybody. That though we may feel that we're tired or we don't have all the things that we expect to have, a family, a future family relationship, or a career. So after I graduated from senior year, I plan on going to serve a mission. I submitted my papers, everything was going well, and then my bishop, he told me that the mission department were going to put my papers on hold. They want me to experience some life outside of the home. So then I decided to go to that year of college. I came to BYUI in 2018, just fresh out of high school. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do, but I decided to go with biochemistry because I wanted to be a crime scene investigator. So then I continued day by day, taking my courses, living with roommates who have certain missions, and that helped me become excited to go on a mission. And then when I returned home for the break, I met with a counselor, and he saw that I changed, that I didn't feel so worthless, that I met so much people that maybe seek to better myself. So then the paper were let go, and they went off to the mission department. And then the following semester, a couple of weeks in, I received my mission call. I was able to read in front of a bunch of people that I made that the following semester. And everybody was so excited that I was going on a mission, as well as I was, that I was going to dedicate 2 years to the Lord. I then went on to go on my mission. I entered the mission field of Roseville, California, where I met so many people, where I made many friends and learned more about Jesus Christ. And then everyone didn't expect what was about to happen in the coming months. COVID-19. I had served 9 months of my mission so far, and then COVID happened. With California then went on to lockdown, and we, as missionaries, we were in our apartment. And then we were receiving counsel from our leaders about this pandemic. And then a leader told me that I was going home. I was devastated. I didn't want to go back home. I was ready to serve the rest of my mission for the Lord, to help people to turn themselves to God. But because that I knew that God had a purpose for me, I went home. Now, during this time, there were a bunch of missionaries from all over the world that went back home. Some of them didn't have the chance to go back, especially me, but there were others that went out and continued their mission. Now, at this time, I didn't know what exactly I would do. I had a family member at home who was susceptible to COVID-19, that it would hurt them. It could even kill them. So I took some time away. But when things started becoming clear that COVID was going away, I decided to go back to college and continue my path as a biochemistry major. Last year, I didn't have that passion for my major anymore. I didn't think like that I wanted to do it anymore. So then during the summer, the previous summer, I was doing family videos. I was editing these videos for my cousins and others that were a part of those videos. So then I had to learn video editing skills to that. And then I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed watching movies, seeing how characters grow. And that's what I wanted to do. So then I changed my major. Now I'm a little ahead in this major with a few semesters left. But because I chose that day that I want to live, that God had a purpose for me, I wouldn't have seen my family grow with an additional member to the family, my brother-in-law. I wouldn't have met my companions, those I met in California. I wouldn't have met the awesome roommates that I had while going to college. And I wouldn't have met, I wouldn't have met the people here at college, those in the audience and those that I've met previously. Now, finding our purpose sometimes doesn't include all of the answers. So I want to share some ways that you can take into your journey of finding your purpose. First one is explore. You can't know if you're really good at something if you don't go out and find it. Whether it's learning a new skill, whether it's learning a new hobby, whether it's a pathway to your career path, whether it's learning sports, musical instruments, or anything that your hearts desire. Plus, this gives us experience that we can apply in our life, that we can help others around us. The next one is embrace the unknown. It's scary walking into the dark with no light. But in order to continue on the path, you have to take steps. Not large ones, but small ones. To be able to go into the dark, not knowing what will happen, but knowing that everything will be all right. The next one is learning to trust your process. Your purpose is yours. All is only yours. It's not a one size fits all. So you have to trusting yourself that everything will go right. Next thing is living with purpose today. Taking each day, thinking of the moments that you encounter in the day and how you can apply that in your life. So I want to give you 2 challenges. The first one, I want you to take out your phone, set a time this week to figure out your plan. If you have a plan already, find ways to make sure that you continue on that path. And what ways, as the new year is about to begin, what ways will you do to make sure you continue that path? Now, my second challenge is to explore something new. Do something that you have never done before, whether it's participating in one of the dance event that happens on campus, whether it's watching a movie or genre that you've never seen before on campus. There's the International Cinema, where they play multiple movies every other Friday, where they're from different countries, different type of genres, and cool experience that you would have never experienced before. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan. All right, so are we hearing from Ethan now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I already gave you his little introduction. So I'm excited to hear about this. We're going to get to hear about how niceness is overrated. Ethan.
You guys hear me? It's not making any weird scratching noises. You good? On my back pocket there? Or what?
back pocket.
Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
One second. Okay. Okay. So when I was 12, I remember walking into class and sitting down and watching my teacher walk through the front door. And right next to me there was this kid, and we were friends. You know, when you're 12, you don't really have friends. Just kind of like they're just there, right? And so he turns to me and he says, "Hey, can I get your homework real quick? I didn't do mine." And I said, "Sure. I mean, why not? I mean, it's technically cheating, but sure, I don't care." And then at that time, the teacher made eye contact with me. And I was like, "Oh, dang it, but I should definitely stop." And afterwards, I remember thinking, why did I actually do that? Teacher came up to me and she said, "Hey, why did you feel the need to do that?" I said, "Listen, I don't actually know." Okay, along those lines. I didn't actually say that. Probably I wasn't very intelligent. Anyways, so she said something to me in that moment that changed my life and that I've reflected on. Along these lines, she said, being nice isn't the same as being honest. Okay, I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. Being nice isn't the same as being honest. Okay, I want you now, that was me, not actually. I want you now to reflect on something. Please raise your hand if you've ever stayed silent when you wanted to speak up. Take a look around the room. Yeah, keep your hand up. Yeah, there you go. All right. So we've all felt what it's like to be pressured into saying a certain way, saying something specific, and not changing just because we feel the pressure to. All right. I'm going to introduce something interesting. Niceness is performance. Okay? And it feels kind of like putting on a mask from who you actually are. And it might sound something like, don't disagree, don't take up space, don't ask for what you need. The first two, I remember specifically hearing a lot growing up, right? Don't disagree, do what I'm told, say yes, do this, do that. Don't ask for what you need. I bet a lot of us feel uncomfortable when we ask for something or when we don't want to ask for something. So that's the mask, and down below, I'm sure we've all had these thoughts. I hope they don't get upset. I don't want to disappoint them, and I don't want to seem difficult. So what is the cost of putting on the mask of niceness? I'll let you think about that. When we put on the mask of niceness, we strip ourselves completely of our thoughts, of our honesty, of our true selves. Brené Brown stated once, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Think of the most influential people that you know. They don't sit around and do what they're told. They speak up. They say the hard thing. They do the hard thing. Reflecting on the story of when I was 12 or 13, and the teacher asked me, what was I doing? What was my intention? Why did I actually give that kid my homework? And the only reason was because I wanted to be liked by this random kid that I haven't seen since I was 12. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to go with the flow. That was my whole motive behind it. When in reality, I was lying to myself and to the person. That wasn't who I truly was or who I wanted to be or what I knew was correct. So years down the road, when I was 16 or 17, I was working at my dad's job for my dad, as a matter of fact, and I had a colleague or a co-worker working right next to me. And as time went on, I kind of just took over his responsibility because he was kind of a bum. He didn't want to do anything. And little by little, I just took on more pressure. I took on more things. And I know we've all been there. I know every single one of you guys has been there in group projects, or if you served a mission on a mission with your companions. And I kept saying yes, which overwhelmed me. Projects kept failing. And not from a lack of effort, but because I was being too nice. I was saying, yeah, sure, I'll take your stuff. I'll take your shift. I'll take your whatever. And then little by little, I just kept getting pushed around. Niceness is silence wearing a smile. The Alchemist quoted, in The Alchemist, it says, when you say yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. This is super interesting, and I feel like a lot of us can relate to it as younger adults. When we say yes to other people, a lot of the time, we don't want to do what we're doing. A lot of the time, we feel pressure to do whatever it is that they want us to do. We often say no to ourselves. Okay? Now, I want you to turn to a neighbor. Actually, no, scratch that. Don't turn to your neighbor. Think about it, just yourself. And I want you to complete this sentence. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. One thing I've said yes to that I didn't truly want was, and then fill it in. One thing I've said yes to that I didn't truly want. Maybe that's hard for some of you. I know sometimes it is for me. The truth of the matter is, niceness makes us smaller. Okay? People don't connect with watered-down versions of yourselves. I'll say that again. People don't connect with watered-down versions of yourselves. All right? This means they connect with the real you. They connect with your original thought, your original idea. They want to know exactly what you're thinking, exactly what you're saying. Of course, got to refrain from some things. Marianne Williamson quoted or said, "Your playing small does not serve the world." This is a fact. Even we have leaders in today's world that don't play small. Sometimes they play unfair. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I don't live by that. But your playing small does not serve the world. So what does it mean when you don't play small? It means you're hiding. It means the world is losing your voice. Niceness protects comfort. Let's look at these first 3 points here. Let me avoid conflict now. What does that mean? It means short-term comfort versus growth. And when you avoid conflict, you're avoiding growth. The next thing is, let me not upset anyone today. How many of you guys have said that? Let's not upset anybody today. Let's not upset this person. I'm sure, those who are in a relationship know what it's like, Don't upset your partner. It's kind of difficult sometimes. But let's not do that today. This, unfortunately, though, all right, is also a conflict-avoiding act. Growth equals honesty, boundaries, and courage. Okay? People are admired not for what they didn't say, but for what they said. Okay, so what to choose instead of being nice? I've been dogging a lot on being nice. I honestly don't agree with being nice at all. Okay? I agree with these 3 things right here. The first one especially, courageous kindness. And this might sound a little controversial, but it's quite simple. Being nice is putting on a mask. It's hiding who you really are. Being courageously kind, or just kind in general, is saying what you need to say out of love. Being who you need to be out of love and not changing who you are. Kindness is not the same as niceness. Kindness is honest. Kindness respects both people, all parties, not just one. The second thing is choose boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are instructions for how to love you, and others' instructions on how to love them. The third thing is choose authenticity. Real connection comes from real presence, not pretending, not pleasing, not performing. Take off the mask. Remember that moment in 7th grade when I lied to be nice? That was just the beginning of a long journey for me. A journey from politeness to truth, from who I pretended to be to who I truly am. So here's my invitation to you. The next time you feel yourself shrinking, softening, silencing, pause and ask, am I being nice or am I being honest? Because niceness might be overrated, but authenticity, courage, and truth will change your relationships, your work, your confidence, your studies, and it will change the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan. Okay, you guys may have seen in the back, the whole thing they wanted to go for today was The Office. And I feel like after that speech, I just have to do something silly. And in true Office fashion, this is so dumb, but I want to do it. And credit to my group member, Abrielle, because I thought this was hilarious. You guys are going to think it's hilarious too. So are you ready? We're going to do something to get our jitters out, and then we're going to hear from our last 2 speakers, okay? Okay. I want everyone to lift up your left hand. Now everyone lift up your right hand. Now follow me. Okay, are your jitters out? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Everyone lift up their left hand. Everyone lift up their right hand. Now follow me. Okay. Is that what they would do on The Office? Probably. It seems really dumb. Okay. Okay. Are we ready over here? You're next, Ruth, right? You ready? Okay. Ruth is from Zambia, born and raised, and she moved here around this time last year. For that in the back. Her family is currently in Boise, Idaho, and when she's not with her family and friends, She enjoys basketball, and she says it's her life passion. And today, I don't remember what you'll be speaking about. Embracing change. Ruth.
Thank you so much for that.
Ruth, your mic is on.
Is it on? Oh, there we go. All right, so today I'm talking about embracing change. And the only reason I chose this topic is because all my life I feel like it has all been about changing, and I found so much joy in changing and becoming a new person. When you look at this picture, when I was choosing this picture, I was thinking about the change that the weather in the States goes through. I feel like it's just so beautiful. I mean, I've had an opportunity to come in winter, and I've gone through all the seasons till now. And I feel like it's just so cute. Our flowers will come and they'll just disappear, and the trees will just be empty again. And I'm like, oh wow. And then they'll just keep changing colors as they drop, and I'm like, wow, this is so magical. I love that. But the change, actually, before I go ahead, I'm going to define what change means. Change means a shift from what something was to something new, or moving from one state to another. A new way of thinking, environment, habit, situation, or a level of growth. There are different types of changes, which is even so good. But before I talk about these changes, I want you to think about your own life and think about your life as the size of a book. With the show of your hands, can you guys just show me how you think? What do you think how big your book could be if you were to tell your story from the time you were born till now? Just the size with your hands. I know, right? I know, guys. And hey, I want to tell you this: every chapter in your life is change. Like, you only start a new chapter in your life when you change. If you don't change, then you're still in the same chapter. So you need to recognize that in your life. If you are not changing, just know I'm still telling the same chapter. And who wants to have 2 chapters in a book that looks like this? That's boring. Nobody will read it. But then if it's this big and you have a lot of chapters, people will come back to read it over and over again, which is so fun. There are different types of changes, and there is personal change, life change, emotional change, and physical change. Physical change and social change. I'm going to talk a little bit about physical change from these 5 types of changes. And the first one that I thought about was change of just the arrangement of the teeth. Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, hey, there's so much space in my teeth. Maybe I should change that. Just to tell a different type of topic. Anyway, what about the change of the color of our skin? Oh my gosh, there's just so much change on earth, guys. What about the change of our body? Why do you go to the gym? Tell me. Well, we find people who look like that, but they're still in the gym because they're trying to maintain it, right? I mean, there's just so many changes in life that we do sometimes, but we can't recognize it that we are changing, right? So after seeing this, I think you guys should start paying attention to the changes in your life. All right, I'm going to tell a story of my life, and I'm going to share with you guys how I went through different types of changes in my own life. And maybe through that story, you can be able to reflect on your own story. One of the biggest decisions I ever made in my life, which was never easy, but I still did it anyway because change is sweet, was when I got baptized. That was the hardest change of my life. It wasn't. If you look at me, this is the only picture I have where I'm not smiling. Trust me, if you go on my phone, it wasn't because I wasn't happy that I was baptized, but because these people you see in the picture, they are the only people who were there at my baptism. Surprise. I don't know what I did. Do I just press the green?
Did you press off?
I don't know, maybe I did. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was like, is this good or it's bad? Well, till today, I feel like it's good. And the next time was when I went on my own mission Well, I was already on my mission that time. It's just me at the temple. But yeah, that was the second huge change that I ever made in my life. And I think it was so special. Hey, I wanted to notice that every change, every picture I'm showing you about these types of changes, there is space between them. So don't think about the space. Let's just think about change being a blink of an eye. And the next change that I had in my life was when I came back from my mission, which was so good. And well, I don't know how to explain that smile, but I was so scared about the difference that I'm now going to face in life. Because I was literally going to start another different chapter of my life. And it wasn't easy, but I was welcomed by my loving mom. And I thought, hey, this is so good. The weird part about this was when I got home, I told myself when I was on mission to say, hey, when I go home, I need to rest because I've been waking up every time when doing all these things. Like I've just had this schedule that has just kept me on my feet throughout my mission. And I want to go home and I'll stay home at least for a month, just sleeping, just eating and sleeping. That was my plan. And then I went home, my mom was so happy and I was like, all right, time to sleep, no wake, I need to rest. 2 days later, I woke up and I told my mom, I'm leaving. And my mom was so sad. It was just 2 days. She had never seen me for 1 year and 8 months. And I said I was leaving. She tried convincing me, hey, I was not going to be the lost son, I promise. But she tried convincing me and she was like, please stay, you need to rest. I was like, I thought if I sit to rest, I'm going to waste so much time to keep writing the stories of my book. Especially because when I went to bear my testimony and my word before I went back home, my bishop was talking about, he was actually giving this scenario about how life is. He said life is like someone open an account for you and then they put money in that account and they say, hey, you can only withdraw money, but you can't deposit. When this money is done, your life is done. And I was like, okay, so if I just keep sleeping, hey, every time that we leave, we're withdrawing from that account. We're withdrawing, but what you do with that money matters because you will never replace it. So I was like, well, if I sleep 1 month, that means I'm going to waste 1 month of my life without improving. I'm not going to do that. And then I just wasted 2 days and I was like, all right, I'm leaving. And my mom was like, anyway, whatever happened, I don't know. But I decided to make this different change in the process and I had to go to the temple because when I went to this place where I was living, which is a different part of my place where my family is, there was a lot of weird things that was happening, bad things. I mean, come on, guys, change is not easy, I promise you. It's so hard. It has its own challenges that come, and sometimes you feel like giving up, but I did not want to give up. So people started asking me, dude, don't you have a family? Why don't you go home? At least go and relax. This is just too much on you. And I was like, yeah, why don't I go home? Then I decided to go home in the house of the Lord. Because I needed to know to say, wait, why am I doing all these things? Tell me, what is the change that I need to take? And well, Heavenly Father will always put you in that position to prepare you for a greater result. Trust me, whenever anything bad is happening in your life, when you are trying to do good, Heavenly Father is trying to prepare you for something that is about to bring in your life. And this is before I talk about the change that I had after that. I want to bring to take you back a little bit when Elder Bednar came and we had this stake meeting and he was answering questions. He actually just answered 15 questions. And one of the questions that he answered was, what is your advice on coping with change? I don't know who ever asked that question, but I feel like it was just for me because I feel so good when people talk about change. And Elder Bednar said, the first thing he said was, okay, everything about the Lord's gospel is about learning, improving, growing, and changing. So if we are living the gospel and we are not doing that, we need to be worried, guys. And then he said, oh my gosh, that was so fast. Okay, way fast. All right, okay, here we are. And it says, change is essential for internal growth and shouldn't be resisted. So when we are changing, let's always embrace that. The natural man and woman hate change and want things to stay the same just because they are lazy and they just want everything easy for them. And if you want things to come easy in your plate, trust me, they never stay. But anyway, this is the greatest change I ever did in my life when I went to the temple and the Lord just told me, hey, relax, you've done your part, just chill. I know what you need right now. Then I just went home and chilled for 2 days. And then I received the message that I was going to travel around the world. Now, if you look at this map, the one that's round, because this one is just. If you look at that map, where my country is, we can't even see where the States is, meaning I actually had to go around the world. Now, I want you to think about the change from this part of the world to going around the world. So God was not just giving me this huge change in my life, but He was telling me, hey, the change that's coming now is for you to keep changing. So you've done your part. Now, here you go. Start now changing. I was welcomed by a wonderful family. This is part of my family is in Boise. And I was crying because I was like, oh my gosh, I was so scared in the plane. I didn't want to land because I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to talk to these people. I've never met them in my life. But hey, I met them. They had so good smiles there waiting for me. And I was just there tearing up. But anyway, they were actually a very wonderful family that gave me good experiences before they brought me here. And they took me to see snow because there was no snow in Boise that time. But they took me to see snow, and that was so cool. And for the first time in my life, I was able to be in a family picture. You don't know what that meant to me. That was a very big change. And I found myself with a very cute best friend. Anyway, and those are my parents. They really made sure that I had the best time of my life. And hey, I remember when I told you I'm going to pass the pictures so fast, so that you should think every change here is just like it was just, yeah. That's how they actually did it for me. Because I just came back from the temple 2 days later. All these things were happening within a month. Now every change that was going on here was just like, so I was like, is this really real change? Because change should take time. And now here is one of the things that I'm still trying to know if I can really change to it. Imagine changing from eating this or eating this to eating this. I think you can tell the difference. It's just so hard for me because this food is so different. Like it's super different to me. I don't know. I don't know about you, but this is so different to me. But hey, I love it because it is change after all. Um, so when I was brought to BYU, Idaho, I feel like this was one part where I was like, you know what, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Because I was like, why school? You know, school is just, I was thinking about books, I was thinking about lights, and I was thinking about classes. I'm going to meet new people all the time, and now I don't think I can do that. It wasn't so easy. Anyway, I lived in this good apartment with a good roommate. And then I started thinking to myself, and the thoughts came to me. I feel like it's a little bit related to what Elder Bednar said when he came. He said, okay, that's not clear. But he said, the Savior did not offer his infinite and eternal atonement, atoning sacrifice, so you and I can just stay the same. So I thought being scared of school and being worried and thinking about all those weird things was just keeping me from growing, but it was just keeping me to stay the same. And I didn't want to stay the same. So the last one says we are supposed to embrace change and allow ourselves to grow. So I said, I'm going to allow myself to grow and I'll make a very good friendship with my roommates. And we were really good friends and we did a lot of great things. And my roommate, hey, they were just my roommates for winter. So they went. And I still had the strength to make new friends. And I enjoyed all the time I spent with them. Sister Bednar concluded the answer that Elder Bednar was asked by saying, when we embrace change, it doesn't learn things, it makes them better. And when we are here, when our hearts change, it doesn't learn us, but it makes us better. Learn to love change, don't avoid it. don't we go against it? It's an opportunity to learn new things. So I'm inviting you guys to go out there, embrace change, keep learning new things, embrace growing. You don't want to stay young forever. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. That was so good. I feel like I need to go experience your country now. I wish. We are going to put this up here for T's speech when Colin gets here. T is from Los Angeles, California. She loves rugby, traveling, and her family, and she also loves to try new things. And she will be speaking to us about culture. Do you want this on the front?
Just like scoot up a tiny little bit.
Like right here?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Pretend you guys don't see that.
Is it lights on?
Good. You guys hear me?
Okay, welcome T, everyone.
Just in case I've been a little sick. Just a little bit. All right, we are going on a vacation, and I'm gonna be your tour guide for the day. And our focus for today is to show you guys how we as a people can be sustained by our own culture. I just picked you guys all up from your hotels in the beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. Ooh, ah. And we get on our tour bus and we drive a little over an hour to the other side of the island, Laie, Hawaii. And we arrive at the Polynesian Cultural Center. The PCC, which is the Polynesian Cultural Center, was built in 1963, and it was inspired by a traditional Hawaiian fishing event called a hukilau. And a hukilau is where usually it's like a community or a larger family or just a big group of people. They come and they need a lot of people because, as you can see here, it's a very large fishing net. And it's thrown into the ocean, and we wait for a school of fish to come. And while we wait, or we herd a school of fish in, once it's over the net, we pull it over. And it's a heavy net under the water. We have to get fish in it, and then we have to pull it out. So as you see, it's gonna be a little heavy. So that's why we have a good amount of people. The reason I bring this up is because in the 1940s, the church building that the people in Laie would worship in accidentally burned down. So they wanted to rebuild their church building, have another place for them to be able to worship. So they were thinking and deciding on how to raise some more money. So they sat and they thought and they decided that they would do a hukilau fundraiser. And it was a big hit. So the hukilau fundraiser, the first one was in January of 1948. And they staged a hukilau for people to come and watch and for people to come and participate and join in on this event. They had different people assigned to making crafts, to cooking food, helping serve food, and to everybody was doing a cultural performance at the end. And it was a sold out event on their first one. So then it became a monthly thing. Occasionally it would happen a little bit more, but it did happen every single month up until October 12th, 1963, when we got this, the Polynesian Cultural Center. It turned into a monthly event to every day it's open, except for Wednesdays and Sundays. I like to think of it as Polynesian Disneyland. The first time you look at it, you look at a map of Disneyland and you're happy, right? And it's pretty much the same thing because it's immersive, it's interactive, and it's an experience for people to be able to come and enjoy. So our tour is going to be focused on the PCC today, and it's going to be focusing on this. So our tour opens up
at 12:30. We're starting at 12:30, and we go into the Huki Canoe celebration. This right here is the first thing that you see when you walk into the gates. You open up and it's a little show, and it showcases kind of an intro of the 6 villages and the 6 islands that we're gonna be visiting through today, which consists of Samoa, Aotearoa, Tonga, Tahiti, Fiji, and Hawaii. And it's pretty much just a little story of how the ocean connects us all as islands instead of separating us. We're gonna start off our tour today in the village of Samoa. And in Samoa, the Samoan traditional greeting is talofa. So in the Samoa village, you can see a couple different things. Like I said, it's a very interactive, immersive experience. You can see people climbing the coconut tree the traditional way, and you'll see how we store the coconuts in the islands traditionally, and then you can see how to start a fire, and we also use coconut husks. We have a lot of coconuts in the islands, we gotta make use of them all. And something else that you can also see is the art of the Samoan fire knife dance. One thing that I brought here is the practice stick. You can learn the beginners, the basics of how to do the Samoan fire knife. You wanna learn, you wanna see it, come call me after. But you can also see traditional cooking, you can see the houses, how it was done, how they were done in Samoa, weaving and different things like that. After Samoa, we're gonna head over to the village of Aotearoa, which is the land of the long white cloud, also known as New Zealand. And in New Zealand, the traditional greeting in Māori is kia ora. And in the Aotearoa village, oh, hello. I see what you mean now. Okay, in the Aotearoa village, you can see the haka being performed and different traditional dances being performed by the men and the women. The art of the dance of the poi balls, which are also here. Ooh. And you can also see a traditional sacred meeting house called a wharenui. And then you can see the game of Titi Torea, learn how to play it. And then right here is a traditional warrior canoe called a wakatawa, used to transport warriors across the ocean. After we leave Aotearoa, we head over to the best one, in my completely biased opinion, the Kingdom of Tonga. And in Tonga, the traditional greeting is maloelele. And in the Tongan village, you can see the show with the nafa, which is the drum. And you can see a drum master, and it's honestly my favorite because they choose different volunteers to come up and perform and learn how to do and play the nafa. It's really fun. And then you can learn about the Tongan seal and some Tongan traditions. You can learn about the art of the tapa cloth making traditionally, and then learn some dance moves and have a good time, because Tongans are all about having a good time. After Tonga, we're gonna head over to the village of Tahiti. In Tahiti, the greeting is Iorana. And in the Tahiti village, you can learn how to throw a javelin, so it's a spear, at some coconuts. And the actual target practice is gonna be a coconut over a pole. And then you can see and learn how to do a little bit of Tahitian dancing with the men and the women involved as well. And then a beautiful thing is you can see the traditional marriage ceremony that is done in the traditional Tahiti customs. And it's also super awesome because in the village, when you're there, they usually have all the married couples stand up, face each other, and kind of renew their vows as being able to participate in the village. After Tahiti, we head over to Fiji. And in Fiji, the greeting is Bula Vinaka. And in Fiji, you can learn how to do some Fijian drums, watch a show where the men and the women will perform, how to make coconut oil from scratch, traditionally. And right here is an awesome show that they have on a canoe called the Tamaka. And if you've ever seen the movie Moana, the boat that she takes from Motunui to Te Fiti is the same canoe, it's the Tamaka. And they do an awesome show on that as well. Last, we end in the village of Hawaii. And in Hawaii, the greeting is aloha. And here you can learn how to play some games, traditional games, some old games that they played. You can play with your family, you can play with other people. And then you can also watch some dances being done by the men, women, some songs being sung, and some awesome things like that. After we go through all the villages, we end off in the night show, which is called Ha, Breath of Life. It's a story about a young boy who was born, and he goes through his life and different life events in the different islands that we visited today. And it has an awesome show with the fire knife dancing. That's why I chose this picture because it's really cool. And they really do this in the show as well. Excuse me. The reason that I brought you guys here to the PCC today is because it's a prime example of how our culture can sustain us individually. In the PCC, 80% of the workers are students of the nearby university, which is right behind, which is Brigham Young University, Hawaii. And BYU Hawaii and the PCC were both founded by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Every year, 700 BYU Hawaii students supplement educational expenses by working at the PCC. And 2/3 of that, which is about 500, over 500, belong or are part of the iWork program, which is the International Work Opportunity Returnability Coalition program. And it's an awesome opportunity where students are able to learn, come to school, and be able to work, and that will help with paying their expenses for school. Since opening in 1963, the PCC has attracted more than 35 million visitors. That's a lot of people. And over 17,000 students have worked at the PCC. Over the years, the PCC has provided $178 million in total funding or financial support for students at BYU Hawaii and for the school. I talk about this because I know that my culture does sustain me. And the PCC has helped so many different people with being able to come away from home and to get an education. It's given my people of the Pacific the opportunity to learn and to gain their education and to also work away from home. It's given my friends the opportunity to be able to, my friends and family the opportunity to be able to work away from home, to attend school, and to be able to learn, all while the PCC is 12-time winner of the best attraction in Hawaii. It has many other awards as well. So it's a very awesome place for people to be able to learn and to gain their education and to learn, to gain experiences. I know that my culture does sustain me, and I know that culture is a very important part of all of our lives. And it is important that we learn about our culture to be able to sustain our culture and to be able to let it sustain us. Our culture has helped all of these people and many others to be able to keep our culture in our lives, to be able to be involved in it, and to be able to share it and to be sustained by it. And I know that your culture can do the same for you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We should give them one more big round of applause. Thank you, guys. Okay, that concludes all of our TED Talks today. Thank you all for attending, and we have extra popcorn. We'll be back there scooping away if you want to take some back. So 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5. Thanks.
Okay.
I wish you was gonna say it.
How did I know you were
Hello.
Hey, thank you.
Take 3, take 4, 6, 7.